I'm a writer, musician and producer. I was born and brought up in England. I lived in India for 2 years in Punjab. It was quite a shock going over there from England, where they didn't used to slap you when you got something wrong. I started writing poetry when I was 8. My mum used to take me to poetry recitals, and I would just sit in the audience, write a poem. And I suppose people don't really want to tell an 8-year-old that they can't perform or that their poetry's rubbish. And I started writing plays. At 17, I signed a deal with one of the biggest companies in England to write sitcoms. I had also a few bad experiences, casting call experiences, I think you can call them. I was only 17. So I decided to go more into music. I started playing music semi-professionally in Kenya. There are a lot of English people over there with very big houses and bars. So we would often be asked to play at the opening of different bars or clubs. In my 20s, I mainly played in Soho and different clubs with different musicians. And I also was in a band called Othello, and we were based in Notting Hill.
I wanna get so high that I escape this submarine. I wanna be the guy that gets to play the coolest songs. I wanna have.
We had a deal offered to us by Atlantic Records to go to America and record an album.
But I hope I
I don't really care about the genre, it's just whatever you feel. It's more about atmosphere. The music just has to have some sort of atmosphere, so the second you hear it you can get some sort of feeling. But I do blend a lot of the East and West influences. So one of the clearest examples is in the band Dave Fokker. I formed I with Chris Sayed. It was quite a tempestuous partnership, but I think we did some amazing music. It was also interesting working with a rapper like Chris. I was invited to play at the Indian High Commission on a couple of occasions. The first time they had one of the biggest audiences they'd had for a musical program.
The cowboys and the Indians got into a big fight. The cowboys tried to take the land with all their might. The white man came in and he took away the land.
I moved to France in 2008 to set up a studio. There were a few complications and we ended up opening a restaurant. It was quite a challenge, learning the language, learning about the people. I'm currently writing a novel about my experience in France. We'll go in tandem with a film I've also written. A little bit like Chocolat. And coincidentally, the film The 100-Foot Journey was filmed in my village by the director of Chocolat. And he was there filming the Hollywood film 100-Foot Journey, which starred Om Puri and Helen Mirren. I formed CBS Films with my mother a few years ago, and we wrote, directed and produced our first feature film, Throw of a Dice, which has won awards for Best Film and Audience Choice. We're looking for a distributor at the moment, but I also did the score for that. A lot of people have said that once you do a film, however difficult or stressful it is, you do want to do another one. So I'm moving more into film. I have a number of projects, but with the film it just takes a lot more time to get the money together. I'm looking at putting into production a film called Brown Sugar. The film is about a band who come over to India to try and carve out a career, and it's a road movie. They travel around India. A lot of things go wrong. India's an amazing place, which will test anyone if you're not used to the culture. So it threatens to destroy the tour, which they thought they were going to do over there, which falls apart. And they have certain experiences, I don't know if you can call them spiritual experiences, especially the singer, who didn't think about or wasn't necessarily interested in finding himself or spirituality there. But a lot of it was based on my experience of going to Goa a few years ago and meeting someone who claimed to be the avatar of one of the creators. So it draws upon that sort of experience about life and what we believe, and whether there are straightforward answers to all the questions that we have about existence. I had a meeting with Sushmita Sen about a project, but I think she would be perfect for this film. I've also spoken to the actor and producer Sanjay Suri about being a co-producer on this film. So we'll see what happens. We just need to get the backing for it, and it will feature the music from the band Sugar Pump. This Sugar Pump album, Sugar Rush, has been 4 years in the making. We started work on it in 2010. So it's been a while doing this album. Getting it ready, doing the artwork, which is quite difficult when she lives in America and I spend my time in France and India. The main style of music or description is probably rock, electronica. We have a lot more technology at our disposal, so why not use it? We are very reliant on computers to make music, so I just try and use them to the full. I grew up listening to a lot of Indian music through my mother. The Sugar Pump album is probably the best example of my style. I think I naturally combine East and West influences, but I'm very happy with the result. The album is out now. I hope it does well, especially in India. I would love the opportunity to come over to India, to places like Hyderabad, which I think is a very dynamic city. And it'd be fantastic to come over there and play. I'm currently working on the soundtrack for a new Indian independent film. They're just trying to raise the final funds to finish the film off. But it looks like a very, very interesting film about and starring a lot of the people from the streets in Old Delhi. I've also been working with an ex-West End actor and musician called Cluedo White. I tried to crowbar in some tablas and get him to expand his palette of sounds and influences. We've got a number of other film projects that we're currently embarking on, so including documentaries, which I think will be quite entertaining. He's a very interesting character, and I think very watchable. I'm now producing a young singer-songwriter called Noah Chetri. He has an amazing voice. I think he could probably be a crossover artist in the West. I would say that I was a global Indian. I think I've inherited some of the spirit from my parents of India. I have a lot of Indian influences, and obviously influences from the country I was born in, which is Britain. People that maybe don't realise just how funny Indians are, and just our way of looking at things is very, very different to a lot of people in the world. But I think a lot of these things are spiritual. If I just play guitar, it does naturally sound very, very Eastern. I think being brought up with different cultures is something that does inform your view on the world. You take the best from both cultures. I think that I'm very open-minded and always look to do things in a different way. And it does give you a much more rounded and complete experience in life, I think.